Welcome to this very training. If you find yourself here in this very first class, congratulations. Your journey to financial freedom just begun. You see, I need to tell you people something. It is not opportunities. There are just few persons that grab opportunity. Don't take what I'm teaching you for granted. It has helped a lot of Nigerians. Okay. Without further ado, let me just quickly go into the lesson for today. The day one today, the one what we'll be considering is what is web design, what is web development, type of web development, content management system, what is required. In just simple time, ordinarily I can explain it without actually preparing a video, but I just have to for an illustration purpose now. Alright, I will talk about this image when I come back here. Is that clear? Okay. So a lot of persons must have been hearing web design, web development. They are two different things. There are two different things. Okay. All right. Let's first of all exhaust what we have as a write-up I kept here before I make my explanation. It's something so easy. It's easy. And the good news I'm having for you is that you can design websites without actually coding, without actually writing any single line of coding. All right. So what is web design? Web designing is a process of planning, conceptualizing and implementing the planning of designing a website in a way that the functional and in a way that is functional and offer good user experience UI. And you know there are people that deal on UI. Users experience means those people using it, how good are they finding it, how easy are they finding it. The central users experience is central to web designing process. Website have an array of elements present in a way that make them easy to navigate. I will talk about this later. Okay, now let me quickly just give you an example of designing. See, everybody can be a web designers or designers. Okay, everybody can be a web designer. Web designer is just simply a process of planning. That is how will I put it? Let me put it is a blueprint. It's a blueprint of how do you want your website to look like. How do you want? You are not developing. See, it's different from development. How you want the school logo to appear here. Let's assume you're doing a website for school logo. Maybe you want school logo to appear here. You want maybe a slide bar to. It is a planning. Let me use that word. A planning, or what we call a blueprint of the web. I want to use that word in a simple term. A blueprint of the web. A blueprint is a blueprint. Let me just also use this, what you all know. For example, when you want to build a house, when you're preparing to build a house, when you're preparing to build a house, sorry, when you're preparing to build a house, the first person you call is an architect who will draw out the plan. That is this planning. These architectures, they are not the builder. You understand me? They will show you a picture of a fine building. You pay for it. Now, you've just seen how you want your your house to look like. That's just what web designers do. You can just draw out or you see a similar website, you just this is how you want it to be. You draw it out. That process of planning, getting everything involved in designing a website is web design. I hope I've made myself clear. It's just design. You've not built any website. You don't even design, you just draw it out. Now, in web designing, these are the things you consider. All these things in order for you to make this website experience look good. You've not designed any website, and today in this first class we might not actually design, but tomorrow we'll go back to back in making designs. Right. So development. So what do designers do? Right, I've even written it here. Web designer create a design and layout of a website, just as I've explained before. Their technical expertise and their knowledge while keeping in mind and chart require client requirement. What you require, he just draw it. It's a blueprint. I've used that word, a blueprint of how the website should be. That is web designer. All right, let's go to web development, and this is where I will stop, and I will just run few things more. All right. Web development. Okay, in web development involve building and maintaining a website with the help of coding system so that the website functions smoothly with no glitch. Now, in web development, when an architecture has finished drawing his plan, he is not the one to start mapping, putting the foundation. After putting the foundation, laying blocks and all the rest of that, they call the services of a builder. Those who maybe you are into technical field will understand these things. If you go into maybe real government functional project or any kind, you see all these things. Now, when they are through drawing out the plan, they pass the laid out plan or the blueprint to a builder who will now oversee how you lay the block, where window will be, where your door will be. That is the work of a developer. That is the work of a developer. A developer builds and maintain website. It takes the blueprint, it takes the look of what someone has already drawn as a plan. So that is the major difference between a web designer and a web developer. I just believe this you've understood what I mean. That's the major difference between a web designer and a web developer. So take note of this. So although I need to be sincere, they use these two words interchangeably. A lot of persons confuse themselves for it. Where I'm a web designer, me I'm a web developer. Understand? I can also design. I can draw out a blueprint of a website. Okay, all right. I believe it's understood. But if, however, it's not understood after this lesson, you can drop your questions on our group here. All right. Web design versus web development. Okay. Let me just say web design and development are two terms that often used interchangeably. However, they both mean two different things, just as I've said, have different purpose and requirements, and require a different set of skill to implement on a website. Now, a designer is just like anybody can design. You just draw. Maybe you see a similar website, you draw. You say, okay, here the login will be here. This is to happen. This will happen in a website. All these things, if you put all these things together, you're already a designer. But the development is actually implementing this thing that is on a design template. Okay. All right, I believe that's on a web designer is more about experimental side of the website that ensure that the audience find the website useful, immersive, and engaging. It is highly intuitive, based on the expectation of the user, and uses this knowledge of user expectation to ensure an excellent user experience. Web development, on the other hand, now look at web development. On the other hand, involve building and maintaining a website with the help of coding systems so that the website could be functional without no glitch. Okay, now this thing I've just explained then, I don't know if you're still confused with it. Development or developer are those who pick up, who draw the coding system, who make that website come real. Designer are those who just draw the plan, the sketches, and a very simple thing. And that is just what I will explain to you today. Type of web development. All right. If you want to develop, we're not talking about type of web design. Designer is different. Okay, I've just explained it. Just anybody can design. If you draw rubbish and you give me, I design or I develop rubbish for you, and that's just what it means. Now, development, we have to type. We have content management system and coding. I have reasons for not writing this down. I might not write it down, but I will just tell you what is required. So we've exhausted what is web design. We've exhausted what is web development, type of web development. Okay, this, and these two. I will just explain it, and I will call off the class. Okay. Now, all right. This one, listen attentively. This very one, this first one, content management system, is known as CMS. It's one type of web development that you don't need much knowledge in coding. You don't need to maybe know how to use web languages. Yeah, and it is advisable for beginner. You just need to start using this one first. They call it CMS. So it is just content management system, and this is the one. Listen attentively. This is the one we'll be facing. This is the one we'll be facing. We might not dwell much on this, but those who want to advance, this one in less than this 2 week of this training, you should be able to actualize doing this. Yeah, but there are some things you just need to know. Just less than 2 weeks, you should be able to do this. You should be able to do this. Why this one? If you want to do this one, it should take you, if you want to be a balanced coder or developer, a balanced web developer. That means you are calling yourself a professional like me. I do this. I am just not like, so many other persons or that there. A lot of them are just with this, and this one is easy. 1-2 week time, you should know it. If you just follow up this class, you should know it. It's not, you will know it. All right, but this one involves a lot of technical skill, which I also do. I've developed so many websites using this. And I will tell you the differences. I think I'm supposed to even write it down. Okay. Let me just explain. You can take your pen and jot them down. I'm supposed to write it down because it also requires a lot. In CMS, you don't code. All you have to do is you follow up a site building process. There is a template that you follow up, that a popular one, and that's one we are looking at, is WordPress. We'll be looking into WordPress. It's a well-known application that helps you to have a template. Use this template to develop a website or build a website, or a website building template. And inside this WordPress, you see WordPress have what we call plugin and the themes, and these two themes are just major thing that you need to use in developing a website. All right, let me say CMS. All right, what we'll be looking at is WordPress. All right, in CMS, what we'll be looking at is WordPress. What does it use? It uses themes and plugins. This is themes and plugins. All right, these are the things you learn. Now, in our next tutorial, we'll be learning how to go about this. But then, mind the nine, before developing a website, I think I will cover that in our next tutorial. Before going into this is just an introductory class. I'll cover that in our next tutorial. Before going into this, you need to have a knowledge of what we call web hosting, how to host it, because this one you'll be doing it on live server. Although this one, if you start on long time, you might just be doing it with your computer, and that is just it. You need a web server. So, and I will teach you in the next class, or maybe I think next 1 or 2 tutorial, you should be learning how to purchase a domain name, how to purchase a hosting, how to use the domain name to develop this without writing a single code. And I am assuring you, you won't write a single code. All right, domain name and hosting is what we'll be talking about in the next class. Then, why coding takes time? You will learn over 6 to 7 languages. For me, I know over 8 web language. It should be more than. Can't even count them. And then some of them I will call them. The first one is known as HTML, hypertext markup language. You learn about cascading sketch spreadsheet. You learn about JavaScript. You learn about jQuery. You learn about PHP. You learn Python. You learn about it. You learn a lot. You even learn SQL, server-side language. But all that is when you are dealing here. And I know some persons will want to dwell here, but I must tell you, it's not as if is difficult. It requires a lot of dedication. If you're dedicated to it, and there is nothing impossible anyone cannot achieve. I'm telling you, anyone can achieve anything. I'm a witness of what I'm telling you. I might not explain. No, no. Right, this is web design. And there was something I was skipping here, the elements of web design. Now, in this designing, they will talk about the color. When architect design, they will put color and everything. That's what we are seeing, the picture and images that is required there. So we've talked about 1, 2, 3. What is required to be a developer? The major thing required here is dedication, consistency, and patience. Dedication, consistency, and patience. Yes. You don't web design is a serious work. You don't just do if you search online on YouTube, you see how much this person's in, more especially in the Western world. So it's not something that you hurry over. Although when you want to do this content management, you can hurry over it in a space of 1, 2 weeks. You should be able to use content management system very well. But if you want to become a professional web developer, not everybody will tell you this. You need patience, consistency. I know how long it took me to become a balanced programmer. Okay, you too, you can actually be. It's not something so difficult. It's something anybody can achieve. You know what it means? It's just like you going to school. You know it requires a lot. All right, that is by the way. All right, the last we'll be considering, I've talked about all now, is materials needed for the job. I advise you have your laptop or a desktop that you'll be using. However, since we are dwelling, or that since we'll be dwelling more on CMS, however, since we'll be dwelling more on CMS, that is content management system, the one that you'll be doing without coding, you can use your phone. And I will also direct you on how to use your phone. It's going to work. Okay, you can use your phone. Since we'll be dwelling more on CMS, you can use your phone. Alright, I think this will be the end of the class. Let me know if you have any question just after this class. Drop it in the class. We can look into it. Okay, this is your first step. In the next day 2, what do we have? What are we supposed to have in day 2? Alright, in the day 2, already the outline have been posted. See you in our next. See you in our next class. You are blessed.